Radiant team ban.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the GameShow Invitational. We have a lower bracket game that is going to be underway soon. Moscow 5 versus Burden United, and it should be a pretty good one because we have a couple stand-ins, a whole bunch of stand-ins in fact. Mind Control previously from the other BU. Tib, I don't recall exactly where he is. I don't know actually who Yolo is, but I'm pretty sure he's a real member. But we also have Zion Kuro here standing in for Burden United, so this should be at the very least pretty interesting. Winner of this goes up to face against Power Rangers in the losers bracket semis, so should be good. I'm Mikelorus, going to be joined by Heflamoke for this best of 3. I am more excited than I thought I was going to be for this game.
That's the power of stand-in. So we have Secret United, Burden United right here, which is kind of interesting to see. I mean, yesterday they had a decent-ish performance, even though they gave away more than they had to, but then they kind of remembered that they should have been the better team. So they got through with it, but, well, Moscow 5, to be honest, is a team I haven't casted in a very long time because I don't know if you remember, but there were at some point 2 Moscow 5 teams, and they were quite active and everything, but then it kind of fell all apart, and ever since, I have to see how they play right now, to be honest. I can't really judge them at all.
Yeah, I mean, they're mostly stand-ins also, let's be honest. Mind Control, as far as, I'm assuming they're going to give Mind Control the mid lane, since I've seen Mind Control play mid lane in every single team that he has been in. He's a standout mid player. He's absolutely fantastic. So that's a pretty safe bet there. Bignum's pretty flexible, as should be Axmo. I'm not really sure about everyone else, but yeah, it's gonna get a hard read for you in this game, especially this match rather, because there are so many stand-ins. But we have a draft going on. Vengeful Spirit as a very early pick, along with an IO. This is an opening that you don't really see all that often. IO first pick, fine, whatever, that's okay. But Vengeful Spirit, you could probably get later if you really want to pick her up.
Yeah, I mean, Vengeful Spirit IO combination, that's quite interesting. I wonder who's drafting right now for Burden United. Like, do we see some other elements? Do they, like, pick towards the stand-ins, or do they just pick what we usually see for Burden United? What did we have yesterday on Burden United? Remind me. Oh, no, wait, you were actually stuck. Yeah, I was casting the first 2 games, I can't remember. And you were stuck in traffic, I know. So I was casting with Grandis, actually. So it's a stupid question, I guess.
I have no idea, but I know that Zion Kuro usually don't draft, and I don't think they have drafted in any other teams that they've been in. Maybe Zai does a little bit, potentially, but Come With Me is like the quote-unquote captain right now, so he's making the picks, but I don't know who's actually calling the shots. But regardless, we have a Gyrocopter as the second pick for Moscow 5. Pretty reasonable way to go, and well, they probably would like to grab someone like a Witch Doctor or a Disruptor just to have an answer to this IO down the line.
Yeah, I'm actually checking the draft from yesterday. So we had yesterday they had Winter Byron mostly secured. Once they tried to go through with a AM core, but other than that they went pretty tanky alongside with the Viper and say it, a Queen of Pain. Then the second one was also Winter Byron always secured. The second one I remember because that they played a Slaughter, which was very interesting to see. Sing Sing played that Slaughter, and he had nice start into the game, early initiation, and that of course with a Tusk. And wait, the third game where I had to drop out, again, pretty much the same scheme. They tried again the AM with the Quap and the Winter Vibrant. So that's pretty much along the lines of yesterday. In comparison to today, obviously we have nothing yet drafted what we had yesterday. Vengeful Spirit, IO, that's completely new. So let's see where we go. We actually get the IO Tiny through. So this is our second IO Tiny game today. And, well, one team already worked on the bad stats of that combination. Let's see if Burden United actually boosts the stats of that combo a bit.
100% win rate today, man. Literally can't go wrong. It's statistically impossible for Burden United to lose right now with 100% win rate. But yeah, IO Tiny, I mean, we saw it in the previous set, but in case anyone wasn't there, did get a pretty good start. A Blink Dagger early on the Tiny pace-setting hero. It's super bursty, and for a hero like Gyrocopter, who you need to keep alive, it's not exactly an easy time. Witch Wyvern is the same exact way. Vengeful Spirit doesn't really play into this a whole lot, though. Like, I'm still not sure where the Vengeful Spirit comes in. If you slide the 2 strength heroes that BU have picked up to the left one box, then everything makes a lot more sense. But Moscow 5 seeing the IO Tiny grab a Witch Doctor, I think that was pretty much to be expected.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking at the stunts at the moment, we have a Vengeful Spirit set up, potentially a swap. Then later on we have the the Tiny combination. I mean, last game we saw the Tiny actually being in such a spot where we had a Blink Dagger so early that he pretty much had a Midas. A Midas in the sense that he could really just jump on a hero like Witch Dog and you just blow him up. That's just a fact. It's really just like a big fat Midas. Only difference is you use heroes instead of creeps. So looking on the Saber on the other side, well, Winter Wyvern is of course always nice for those fights. We have seen many fights today that have been either hugely influenced by a Winter Wyvern or even turn around. The Witch Dog is another set of the Saber. Other than that, well, some nice AoE with the Gyrocopter rocket maybe later. The Viper now comes the tanky part. Looking at the Tiny and what he could actually blow up, it's Winter Wyvern and Witch Dog, pretty much what we had in the last series. The others, well, the Gyrocopter, I hope he goes relatively fast tanky, because he needs to.
5 seconds.
Yeah, if he doesn't, then
remaining.
he's going to get insta-gibbed, not only by this Tiny, but, I mean, not insta-gibbed by the TA, but very quickly
Reserve
killed
time.
off by this TA. BU have an abundance of damage. Perhaps they may run into a situation where they are going to get kited. Moscow 5 have 4 ranged heroes
Dota
right
team
now. Though Jar Ranger won't really work well into their laning, just as a 5-man range
Ranged
lineup,
team
that
pick.
can potentially be a very high damage dangerous situation for BU, and well, the kiting situation will be real. They grab a Rubik as their last pick.
Dire
Is this
team
going to
pick.
be a... What is this going to be? Mid IO? Mid Rubik? What? I mean,
You're
Moscow
confused?
5 banned out of Clockwork, so I was thinking more along the lines of Moscow 5. I did not see this one coming.
It's quite interesting, to be honest. So how's the laning going now for Burden United? The TA is mid. We have the IO Tiny, and
10 seconds remaining.
what is the offline here? Or we see the IO Tiny in the mid,
5 seconds
Templar
remaining.
Assassin, question mark. I don't know. Like
Okay,
they
well, we
could
know
turn
what
this
Moscow
around.
5 are probably going to do, right? They're probably going to put the Viper in the mid lane. And then now it looks like they're going to be running an offensive Trilane, which Dr. Gyrocopter Winter Wyvern, we saw a little bit of that in the previous series. Spiritbreaker is the last, probably a heavily nomadic hero, but either way, should be getting solo lane or semi-dual lane worth of experience. So Viper in the mid lane, I think IO Tiny is probably the best way to deal with that, although, like, it seems like... well, I still don't know because stand-in situations, I can't give anyone a read on what's going on right now, but this is 3 support heroes, quote-unquote, from BU. Come with me, Kuro, as well as Minuts. So, yeah, I have no idea.
It's, to be honest, for the Burden United laning phase, I have no idea. It has to be a big question mark. For the other side, what do you think about the Spiritbreaker? The Spiritbreaker coming in as the last one, I'm not so sure about it, because, like, is he actually able to do something solo? I don't think so. There's nothing really to blow up. Everybody has something against him. It's also not the best here against the TA. Going in on a Tiny IO is something you don't want to have, so the roaming potential of that Spiritbreaker, I think, should be pretty low. However, I think we don't even get to introduce them because they're already smoked. Well, maybe, let me just start with Moscow 5 and see where we go. We have YOLO on the Gyrocopter, Bignum on the Winter Wyvern, Mind Control now ahead of that little gank train, playing the Witch Dog, Tib behind them on the Viper. And let's see where we go. They find Sai here. There's the Coconut is flying out. That's 1 stun. That's the 2nd stun here at the moment. The Avalanche is already skilled. There he does it, but I think he's still going down. That's our first spot. The question is, do we even see more? Because at the moment, Vengeful Spirit being slowed. Come with me. He brings the entire enemy team, and maybe even there's another charge ready in case they want to go for the IO. But yeah, my nuts, they stay safe.
And that
he
is going to be
stays safe.
that. A quick 2-0 lead for Moscow 5, with Gyrocopter barely staying in range of both those targets with that Rocket Barrage. And, well, that's where Arctic Burn becomes an insane skill. That's where level 1 Poison Attack becomes pretty insane from the Viper as well. But, yeah, that is definitely not the start that BU really would have wanted, especially since Gyrocopter got both of those kills. He has boots. No, it's going to be... Oh, okay, just ring of protection for Basilius down the line for him, but still, he's going to be absolutely loaded down the line. But for the BU side, we have Minuts, who's going to be playing the IO Zai standing in. It's a pretty good mercenary to have on your side as the Tiny. Improvement, I believe, is Paris on the Templar Assassin. Come with me is on the Vengeful Spirit, and Kuro's going to be playing his Rubik.
Yep, but it's definitely a nice start for Moscow 5. I mean, getting a 50-50 bounty rune, split 2 kills, plus, of course, the first blood bonus, that's exactly how you want to start into a game. And now we see the laning. This is really a Rubik. I mean, the best Rubik player on this planet is in that lane, so I'm absolutely not afraid that this is gonna work out.
And it is only up against a Spirit Breaker. Like, it's not that bad, Rubik. If he does get charged, as long as he isn't sleeping, he'll be able to lift him up and should be able to break that charge before it actually connects. So this is a lane where Spirit Breaker has slightly more base damage. He has more armor. If he gets into a man fight, he will definitely win. But he cannot keep this Rubik out of lane, and Rubik should be able to get his experience, and really that's all he wants. If he somehow gets a lot of gold, getting a fast Blink Dagger, yeah, that's fantastic as well, but I don't know if that's going to be happening. In the meantime, they're leaving Zai out to dry on the bottom lane. YOLO just going to walk right up to him. No Rocket Barrage. No, that could have destroyed him. He probably could have gotten a full Rocket Barrage there, but the Venge IO Tiny Trilane, I mean, it is actually pretty good for a defensive Trilane, but it's just not comparable to what Moscow 5 have. Their offensive Trilane is so deadly.
Yeah, but their Trilane at the moment is kind of screwed because they made a triple pull, which is amazing. So that's entire creep wave taken down for your enemy, plus the jungle, of course, cleared. It's pretty interesting what they do. Under normal circumstances, we never see triple pulls like in these games of that caliber. But today, well, quality just stepped up. On top, there's a telekinesis, the Spirit Breaker just being lifted under the tower. I mean, it's not gonna lead to anything, but the harass is absolutely real on the Spirit Breaker. He has to use so much regeneration.
To be fair, Kuro does as well. Whenever you make that play, you're going to be taking some hits as the Rubik, but yeah, it's going to be going pretty decently for the Rubik up towards top. Mid lane is going to be rough. Tib going up against the Templar Assassin. TA versus, well, many other mid lane heroes. Just not a good matchup for the TA, and Viper is definitely one of them. Viper doesn't have to go for any sort of defensive skill. He doesn't have to get corrosive skin at all, though he has one for value. Really, it's just going to be Templar Assassin never getting pressure, or never getting not pressured. It's going to be facing a constant stream of poison, and that is just not fun. She's going to fall behind in CS levels, everything, as Viper is leading the CS chart.
Yep, I mean, Viper's doing good so far. Who's not doing so good is at the moment the Gyrocopter. Like, he's just there with 9 CS. That's 3 minutes into the game due to the triple pulls, to do nice to nice and everything. Now there's at least a double creep wave coming their way, so that's his chance to catch up a bit. But I think Zai at the moment he's on the same level, but of course he got a lot more XP due to the jungle. So let's see where this one is going. He is kind of a bit out of position at the moment. I think if one of those creeps is going down, the coconut might just fly, but mind control, no, it seems like he doesn't really want to go for it. There's just some peel damage with the flak cannon, and that's it pretty much for that lane. How is Kuroki doing? He's going for face boots on the Rubik. Okay, this is going to be very interesting what we see here.
To, right? Like, he's facing up against such a damage deficit up against the Spirit Breaker, who naturally has, I don't know if it's the highest, but it's close to the highest base damage in the game. Like, 74 versus 58, it's impossible to last hit with that, so I actually don't mind this. If you're playing a core Rubik, I can't believe I'm actually saying this. If you play a core Rubik, phase boots actually isn't that bad. Like, similar to a Crystal Maiden, just having that additional movement speed to get in for your skills is pretty useful. And actually, I'd say the more interesting thing is the fact that he has 1 point in stats.
Yeah, I mean, 1 point in stats, so he keeps the level 1 telekinesis, just levels up Fate Bolt, the rest goes in stats, so he's going for some right-click build. To be honest, for me, it feels at the moment they just came right out of scrimming. They were scrimming with some Bird United guys, they were like, yo, today we lack some players, what about we just make a game here and play in the GameShow Invitational? Anyway.
This is the scrim.
Yeah,
this is
this is the scrim. Extended scrim.
It's pretty much what it is. Well, bottom lane, still not as much action as I really would have expected. Witch Doctor only level 2 right now. Winter Wyvern, well, now has Splinter Blast, but early game Winter Wyvern, not really the most devastating hero unless they decide to burst right in. Cast going to be thrown wave over 3 right now, and they have the Magic Missile onto YOLO. Avalanche Toss should kill off the Gyrocopter. It won't quite do it with the heal. They have to waste a lot more time trying to kill him off. Has another Rocket Barrage as well, and Zai dropping very low in the meantime. They won't even kill off the Gyrocopter, although with the long range toss they will. And now Zai off to the sidelines, gonna get salved up as soon as he breaks line of sight. He's gonna be at a very high amount of HP with Avalanche at the ready. Will land onto Mind Control. The IO balls will be there as well. Witch Doctor down. Now into Bignum, they'll try to go, although it seems like they are out of gas for this Winter Wyvern kill. It's a double kill for Zai. I can't believe Zai actually survived that. Nuts there with the stick, with the bottle, keeping that tiny juiced up to near full the entire time.
To be honest, I think this was a fight of lucky range because, like, of all those heroes, the Vengeful Spirit, one of those range heroes with a very low range, interrupted the salve that was on the Gyrocopter. He tried to loop around the trees here, tried to use his self and then come back into the fight, but he really got interrupted by the Vengeful Spirit, while Sai got his self at least halfway through, and that pretty much made the difference. So they got their revenge from the little first blood situation, and yeah, Trilane's being successful. They go back, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna TP, and also those supports, they got now all the gold they need for the wards.
And over the course of that fight, we saw pretty much everything that there is to see coming out from this Trilane. Like, we saw the outrageous burst of Tiny, we saw the utility coming out from the Winter Wyvern, and we saw the utility coming out from the IO as well. A small taste of things to come. I think maybe on a different day it could have been a little bit better for Moscow 5, but now that they have given up a whole bunch of kills to the enemy heroes of the enemy BU heroes down in this bottom lane, it's going to be a lot harder since Zai, he's getting a lot of levels. And with Tiny, yeah, farm is definitely very dangerous. If you get an Aghanim Scepter, a Blink Dagger, whatnot, it's very deadly. But between levels 1 and 8, he has such a high, like, jump in power every single level he gets, because his combo gets so much more devastating that next time the Gyrocopter may just die to that combo, and then Winter Wyvern Embrace won't really help.
Yeah, definitely. At the moment, I don't know. It felt in the draft that we have a very active game, and I was looking forward to it, especially when we had that early smoke and the kills. But except for that little boom every once in a while, everybody is focused on farming. Since the Viper kind of is too dominating in lane, we have the TA rotating in and out of the side mid camps or the mid camps. So she's stacking there or trying to stack, but that kind of failed at the moment. But oh, there, finally, there's a go. They want to go on the Gyrocopter, but he is very decent in HP. Now Sai has to be turned around, and my not so low in HP at the moment. The nice toss, but Winter Byron again just making a stop there. Look at the toss, the IO, but the problem is it actually kills him and he's out of here. Oh my god.
There's also a charge coming in. Axmo is unfortunately going to land on a creep. Zai throws an avalanche wide, doesn't connect onto a single thing. Although Secret, or Kuroki rather, going to zap the Gyrocopter, toss into mind control, not quite going to do it. Nether Strike on Tiny will. Now Come With Me and Kuro are the only heroes left. Here comes more TPs. It's Io, it's Tiny who just bought back, and well, now Moscow 5, they're on the retreat. Kuro's gonna lift up Axmo right now. A toss is there, but he gets bumped in the air. What the hell was that? Physics, how does it even work? It's 3-4 right now. Moscow 5 forcing many a rotation right now. They ended up losing their Gyrocopter, however, and that is a pretty good end result. And it's going to be Empowering Haste once again, stolen by Kuro. Having a Rubik as your payoff hero for the offlane, it's fine, but there's a reason we don't see Rubik in the offlane all that often, and that's because he's very fragile, he doesn't often do that well, but also his payoff isn't that high. He's pretty much a walking Fade Bolt right now.
These tosses are so ridiculous. The first one killing the IO, like a Gyrocopter tossed on the IO directly, pretty much with Rocket Barrage on, killing him off, and he was so happy that he survived. Sai was pretty much safe, and the second toss directly into a charge of that Spirit Breaker. To be honest, I think the first thing I'm gonna do is tell our YouTube video editor for HeflaTV to make this a highlight if he can access this replay. Oh, look at the Rubik.
Music on it and just laugh all day long. Kuro's being charged, but yeah, he smells something coming. Axmo can't really make that call. There would have been a Sonic Trap there as well to slow down Tib. I'm actually kind of surprised that the Templar Assassin didn't get her hands dirty at all in that last fight. Like, buying back on the Tiny is expensive for Zai. He has a couple kills under his belt and he's not farming terribly, so it's not all bad. But yeah, buying back this early on, it's not super expensive, but it is super costly. And Templar Assassin could have rotated in. Even just having Sonic Traps there maybe could have made the difference, but instead the bottom lane, for the most part, going to be dissolved. That fight started out really awkwardly. Like, generally you don't want to die of a Gyrocopter when you don't have any creep support. Rocket Barrage tends to hurt.
What do you think we're gonna see on that Tiny this time? Because last game, or today, we already had a Tiny. Never mind that. I think we have to interrupt it because there is a nice telekinesis by the Winter Wyvern. He's popping everything. There's the toss, and that should be enough for a kill. An easy one. The Spirit Breaker, yeah, he does the right thing. Just hiding there in the trees. And back to my original thought, what kind of items do we see by that Tiny? Like, today we already had one stats, as in PTs directly into Blink Dagger. Now we see already like the braces, so finishing drums, something like that, and just going for the traditional, I got an IO, I go for Aghanims, and that's it.
Yeah, I think that's probably a little bit more desirable. I mean, he's going for the drum, so I guess my answer is kind of cheating, but right now, they don't really have many easy targets to go on. Like, yeah, you can kill the Wyvern, you can kill the Witch Doctor, maybe sometimes you can kill the Gyrocopter as well, but you can't really have your free pick of, point-click kills. You can't insta-kill the Viper, nowhere close. Same thing for the Spirit Breaker. So whenever you have, much fewer options when you're the Tiny, you typically want to go for non-blink dagger items. So going for the drums into Aghanim Scepter probably going to be the build for Zion this game, simply because blink won't provide him with enough value because his options are a lot fewer. Also, like, just going for a straight late game strategy for BU isn't too terrible given their draft and given the draft of M5.
What do you think about the lane swap at the moment? I think it's a good thing because the Gyrocopter, like you actually find some farm now as well as the Spirit Breaker. So for Moscow 5's lanes, it's looking good. They still have not retreated with the Viper on the mid lane. Viper on a good way to finish that Mac. Never mind, the Mac is actually done. It's arriving right now in the courier, which means from now on, if the Viper rotates into fights, they're even more ready to take that. And there's nothing better than you facing a Tiny who tries to blow up one of your supports. If you get the Mac off in the toss, then they actually land and they're still alive. So there's a chance of those coconuts, for example, flying through or anything else.
This is a big item pickup for Tib right now, though Moscow 5, I don't really know how willing they are to fight. Right now, they're going to rotate out with Axmo and Bignum, and level 8, level 5, these are some pretty deadly heroes, especially if they're going to be ganking someone like a Rubik. Maybe he uses Cold Embrace on himself, but I don't really know if that's going to help him all that much. This is not going to go towards the mid lane, actually. They are probably going to run to Come With Me, like, just because the Vengeful Spirit's kind of here. But a straight push up the top lane without the Viper joining in is not the play I would expect from Moscow 5 at this stage. Though it may just work out because they're going to get the charge to Come With Me. He bumps out of the call down, but he goes right into the Rocket Barrage, and that's a pretty easy kill.
Yeah, that cooldown was just for good Masha. In the end, they could still go for the tier 1 tower. I mean, they got Mind Control here, level 2, Voodoo Restoration, easy going. He completely skipped the Maledict. He provides a lot of pushing potential right now. Plus, we already have 3 charges on that urn. They can easily heal through. But oh, there's a go. There's a relocate here. They want to go on the Viper, but the Viper being the tankiest of all targets. Does he get his mech through? No, he does not get the mech through. But oh, look at the coconuts. They're bouncing. That's at least one down. Now the Tiny. Well, this one is just holding him in place, and that's a bad place to be because there's Mind Control's ultimate, and now Zai is also going down. This is a 3-for-1 trade, and maybe even more to come. No, Rubik is invincible. No, invisible. That went around.
Invisibility sometimes is invincibility, and he's feeling confident enough to look for more. He really wants to go for Bignum with the Rocket Barrage there. Bignum didn't know what hit him, but now Kuroki might be in a little bit of trouble because he's charged. The trap will slow everyone bar Axmo. Now the call down is there. He's going to steal Empowering Haste for like the 5th time in this game, and Rubik will go down. A cute play, I suppose, killing off the Winter Wyvern, but probably not worth it. Yeah, that was, again, BU getting the jump on the Viper, but everyone from Moscow 5 was there. And BU, they definitely knew about that because they saw everyone from Moscow 5 pushing the top lane. So they thought that they were going to be fast enough to get in and get out, but man, they were sorely mistaken. When you're in that position with no creeps there, Rocket Barrage is doing its full damage, the Cask is going to get its full value as well, and, well, when you're in that position again, you should just try to leave as fast as you can, and they were not fast enough.
Oh, there's another charge here on the Tiny, but this was just to bait out the Avalanche. Overall, the tiny little play by Kuroki in the mid, I mean, it was more for the viewers than actually for the real play. Since he was the offlane and had a decent laning phase, decent XP, he fed more away to Moscow 5 than he actually gained by that Winter Wyvern kill. Maybe he actually thought he somehow escapes, but against the Spirit Breaker, it's very unlikely you actually make it far, especially as a Rubik. So in the end, Moscow 5 is happy with this one. However, they're not happy with the current score. 3 ahead, and they want to make it more. With that smoke, that they want to rotate in the mid. It looks like it. There's Rubik again waiting. There should be a charge, but at the moment they're just holding back because they don't know where the rest is.
Bignum does have another Winter's Curse available, which did do some pretty sick things in the last fight up the river. I'm pretty sure the Tiny just killed his IO friend. Now the charge is there. He does get the lift off and may stun a couple, but now he's going to get hit with the Cask and the Nether Strike. Swap out from Come With Me, getting next to nothing. Although bring him into the range of Paris. There's the curse, so Come With Me now going to get hit by his friendly TA, plus the Witch Doctor ult. Improvement has to back off, and he will. But buyback from the Rubik. He has no spell steal, so what do you actually do here with this buyback? Scare off the enemies. Well done, mission success. But that's still a 2-for-0 for Moscow 5, having lost pretty much nothing in exchange. And man, this Rubik just has to steal Empowering Haste every single time.
And we have another charge. This time it's on the Tiny, but mind control just TP'd in there. The toss didn't follow up. He still has the toss if he wants to use it, but I don't think he should. And there the Maledict now tick in. Is there another strike available? No, it's not. It's still on cooldown, so in the end they have to go back. The IO just doing too much damage, and even the right clicks are coming through. I mean, look at this with the haste rune. That little ball is actually ballsy, and they want to go for more. Winter Wyvern is the one that has to suffer, but nope, he does not suffer because Spirit Breaker just gets the protection.
Yeah, 100% physical resist, and yeah, you get hit by the avalanche, you get hit by the toss, but you don't get hit by the avalanche toss as a combo, so you will easily survive that. BU, I guess they get the tier 1 tower in the bottom lane in exchange for everything that happened in the mid lane, but still, they had to buy back with another hero. These secret stand-ins, really not afraid about buying back into the game, and so far, neither of the two buybacks, I think it's only been 2 buybacks, have actually done anything, so yeah, maybe should practice a little bit more restraint. Maybe if they had Spell Steal, stole Viper Strike, which is the skill you're always going to steal from Viper, you can get something to happen on a non-Viper target, but yeah, that was pretty ambitious overall. Moscow 5 sitting pretty right now, although sooner or later they're going to run out of smokes. In fact, they don't have any longer, so now they won't be able to get the jump similarly, but still, with just a blind charge, you're going to find some fights occasionally.
Yeah, and I mean it might look not so good for Burden United at the moment on the scoreboard, but the fact is, like, net worth and experience say otherwise. It's a fairly even game for 16 minutes. No one has a clear advantage. We have to see how this really develops. Also, tier 1 towers, like, everything is still standing except for that bottom tower. Oh, Rubik going full aggressive here on Axmo, but nope, nothing is actually happening.
Radiant's top tower
He's charging
has
at him,
fallen.
and he didn't even use Empowering Haste. Whatever, man.
Yeah, it's a crap spell anyway to have.
Yeah,
You
it's
need
level
to
1
get something
also.
else.
Dire's middle
I
tower
feel like it's
is
just
under
like
attack.
Ice Frog giving Spirit Breaker a break. It's like, here, you're
Dire's
anti-Rubik now. Go ahead. Someone's teleporting in. Right onto Zai. That's not where you want to be as anyone. Viper gonna get dropped very low. Sonic Trap is there, plus a charge onto Zai. Needs backup from Io. Where's the relocate? Not there. Nuts gets cursed. Now Zai's gonna kill his ally, and he will go down himself as well. Kuro does steal Call Down. That's a skill that you really, really want, especially when it's gonna land on a couple of heroes. That's a 3-man, and that's another 3-man. Not bad value there, but still, Tiny trying for the Avatos combo on the Viper did pretty much no damage.
Radiant's
No,
middle
that doesn't
tower
really work
is
out
under
at the
attack.
moment. Sai, the IO combination, that ballsy relocate, that will end up in this tier 1 tower, like, and that's what I like the most also, like empowering one of those creeps that can tank a tower for longer. I definitely love that. That's just like the Trained can actually, you know, give armor as well to a creep and taking in, I don't know, 5 tower hits or more. I definitely love that little play. And I just talked about the towers. Now they suddenly start to fall.
Dire's
Top
top tower
was going
is
down.
under
Mid
attack.
is now going down. And, well,
Radiant's
bottom
middle
would be the
tower
next
is
station
under
if
attack.
we have Moscow 5 going for a very systematic game plan. But at the moment, to be honest, without them doing
Dire's
much,
top tower
Burden
is
United is
under
running
attack.
into them. So it's not like they smoke every minute and try to make big plays, charge all over the map. At the moment, it's really Burden United trying to make some plays, but
Dire's top
every
tower
time
is
getting
under
punished for.
attack.
So they have to work on that for sure.
It is maybe a side effect of the fact that Paris hasn't really gotten himself active in this game yet. Power Tread's drums, it's a pretty linear progression for the Templar Assassin if you're not going to go for the Blink Dagger, and so far hasn't really attacked many heroes in this game. It's just, the Tiny trying to make use of his burst, occasionally Kuroki trying to get in there with a good spell steal or something like that, but yeah, for the most part, Moscow 5, they just have all their heroes actually in those fights, actually casting spells, actually right-clicking, and it's working out pretty well for them. And as you said, they can very easily just straight go for this tier 1 tower in the bottom lane, especially now with the BKB on this gyrocopter. BU, they will eventually have physical damage enough to make it so that the BKB isn't really the most dangerous thing in the game, but it's not quite there yet. Maybe once Aghanim Scepter +1 is up on Zai, maybe once this TA actually joins these fights.
Yeah. By the way, I like the early approach of a BKB. In the last series we casted today, the gyrocopter went for Sangayasha first just because he felt comfortable, or maybe because the BKB just, he didn't benefit too much of it. In this game, however, I strongly feel that the BKB is absolutely needed because there's not much they can do against the gyrocopter that is BKB'd unless you get him before the BKB goes off and you find him in a toss and then a nuke down combination. But who's actually nuking him down? Because so far, the Templar Assassin, like, the impact is close to 0. Like, absolutely nothing in this game. Right now, we see a tower trade. Tier 1 for Tier 1. TA is doing top, while the rest of Moscow Fire is doing bottom. The cliffs are out for both. And, There's
Dire's
Kuroki
middle tower
being
is under
charged, but
attack.
they're on a 3-on-1 situation here. I don't think so. I just don't think so.
Man up, Axmo, get in there. There's actually like no chance that this charge lands because Kuroki has both the lift and the Yule Scepter, so it's just not gonna happen ever. But he's gonna call it quits right now. It's still a tower for tower trade, as you said. Still the TA pushing up this top lane, and with the Mytho Hammer in her stash right now, might be going for a Desolator. You get some pretty ridiculous physical synergy there between the Tiny's damage, the Vengeful Spirit's wave as well. They'll come with me going for maxed out Magic Missile. Not something we ordinarily see, but you know, I'm not too opposed to it right now. Zai, crucially though, does have his Aghanim Scepter, and Moscow 5, if they, keep on playing this a little bit slower than they really could, then it may end up biting them in the ass. But right now, they're going for another objective. It's Roshan, and it should be pretty much uncontested.
Yep, that Roshan is bolstering what they already have. I mean, Moscow 5, I already said it, they might be ahead in kills and everything, but Burden United leads in experience because they're just farming all over the map, and even the advantage they have, they just lost 3 towers within, what, 4 minutes? They get Roshan now, but all that just translates in a 1, 2, maybe 3,000 net worth lead. That's it. So being ahead in kills, being ahead on towers and everything, it doesn't really mean anything if Burden United just stands still there with a decent net worth and ready to fight over time, because the longer this goes, also the better it gets around the Tiny. Right now, he just eats a Viper ultimate, but that's pretty much it. They're ready to push for the tier 2.
It's fortifiable right now, but there's no defense incoming for BU. Maybe they get a tier 2 trade. Oh no, with only 2 supports up here, 2 supporting heroes up here, it's not going to happen. So tier 2 tower definitely going to go down here for the BU side, and they might even be charged as well. Axmo not going to pull the trigger there. No sense starting a fight. That's kind of pointless. Just get the free tower, then back off. He's instead going to charge up towards the top lane, where Come With Me is already dropping pretty low. There's also Bignum right in the area. Splinter Blast to slow down Kuroki. And yeah, Come With Me has to TP out like right now. Oh, it's going to be Kuroki. They're caught actually by the curse. He's going to Yules himself, but I don't see him getting out of this one. Come With Me in the meantime getting soloed by Axmo. That's 2 kills for the Moscow 5 side in exchange for absolutely nothing.
I was already putting a big question mark on that play, because they traded the tier 2 tower bottom. Oh, never mind there. Found the Viper, found the Witch Dog. I'm not really sure if that's the right target to go into. Sure, there is the relocate, and they stun them both at the same time, but there's the ultimate, there is the mag. Both of them are still surviving, and the coconuts are flying through, and this is probably the turnaround. Yes, my nuts are already going down. Viper just, yeah, going away, hiding in the trees. The Maledict helping as well with the damage on the Tiny, but now they all have to go back. They still have a double damage, and still some rotations coming in. There's the Winter Wyvern, who could protect the Spirit Breaker, but he's going down before anything's happening here. The TP might be interrupted. No, Winter Curse still on cooldown. So it's a interesting trade. Let's say it like this.
Yeah, that was overall pretty even. The IO definitely getting the lower end of that one, but it's an IO. That's pretty much what you would expect. I'm actually surprised that they didn't get hit even harder by that cask. Like, there was only 3 heroes there, pretty much in a perfect triangle. You would expect all 3 of them, or most of them, to be perma-stunned the entire time, but they get the Avalanche pretty much perfectly placed by Zai, and he escapes with his life after killing off the Spirit Breaker. That's a lot of gold going into this Tiny. Currently leading the net worth, albeit not by much. He is going to close in on potentially a Manta style down the line. Not sure if it's going to be his next item necessarily, but honestly, doesn't really matter. He is getting a truckload of cash, and TA, she hasn't really been fighting a ton. In the last fight, she got her hands dirty a little bit, but she's been farming a lot. Desolator, and of course the minus armor from the Vengeful Spirit, a little bit of physical damage coming out from this Tiny, and well, Moscow 5, they're pretty resistant to physical damage through the Winter Wyvern, but that's about it.
To be honest, I mean, he joined like, what, 3 fights, 4 fights, but 3 out of those 4 fights, every time he faced pretty much the Witch Dog, and the Witch Dog is pure nightmare for a TA. That ultimate just removes your refraction charges in seconds, and from there on you're nothing but like a hero standing around with 1200 HP, no means to survive except for melt, but that's also like something easy to overcome with all the AoE going on.
Yeah, so TA perhaps needs a BKB to get in, but I mean, even BKB, you're facing up against 3 skills that just cuts right through. I guess, the Slow of Call Down, as well as Viper Strike. Winter Wyvern's Curse cuts through in its entirety. Spirit Breaker also can lock you down. Like, you kind of need a BKB, but at the same time you don't want a BKB because it's not going to protect you as much as it really should. Mid lane is going to be pushed, and top lane, well, Come With Me is, I would say, completely screwed at the moment because it's an invisible Space Cow, And Nether Strike is there, and yeah, Come With Me is not gonna survive. Although Nuts and Improvement gonna come right in. Axel falls short, and well, they will kill off the IO. Nuts has no additional tether. He'll regen the TA. That's nice, I guess. But they kill off the Spirit Breaker and even trade. It is a tower to be destroyed by the Moscow 5 side, but man, that's probably as good as it gets for BU given the circumstances.
To be honest, they're happy with this trade. They got a tier 2 tower and a 1-for-1 trade with a relocate also spent on this one. So Moscow 5 totally happy on this one. But oh, mind control, yeah. He is found by Sai and he's completely obliterated. Tossed just for good measures and Bignum. He does the right thing. Just go away because there's so much angry Tiny coming your way.
And Io has another relocate in just 30 seconds right now. Kuroki has yet to steal anything that's truly impactful in this game. With Voodoo Restoration, it's not bad on Rubik, but it's not the one that you want. But man, it doesn't really matter that Rubik isn't really stealing that much, because as long as this Tiny is getting farm, and he is, same thing for the Templar Assassin, then BU will be fine just transitioning into the late game. Moscow 5, they have okay late game right now, but it just doesn't seem like they have enough farm on the right heroes. Like Gyrocopter's doing fine, but Spirit Breaker, you expect him to have a lot more net worth than what he currently has right now. He just can't farm as fast as, say, a TA or a Tiny.
Nope, it just doesn't work out at the moment, but still, I have to point it out for a third time, regardless of how it's standing, it's a very, very even game. We have a Smoke Vengeful Spirit on a warding mission. He might get the ward off, but to be honest, he might also get seen. Now he knows what's going on around him. He knows he's completely surrounded. He has to TP the hell out of here. Or maybe, well, join that fight from north, I'm not so sure, but the Spirit Breaker, he gets just stunned while he was invisible, so he knows something is going on. And, oh, he wants to go on the IO, but the IO could probably tether away, and that's exactly what happens.
There's another charge available, but most likely, oh, he's gonna get tossed to the creep wave. Get out of there! Of course, top lane, Bignum in a little bit of trouble. However, here comes the Viper to help out. He's gonna miss his Viper strike and he's gonna walk right into a TA, instantly TPing out. Bignum is gonna get the ultimate off on Improvement, and this should be a Templar Assassin kill. Oh, here comes Kuroki. He's gonna get the lift off and the Zai relocate in. That's Viper down. Bignum stuck in a corner, has no flight. He's going to glimmer himself out, and YOLO's and Mike Troll coming in from the back lines. Kuroki's going to dodge the cask right now. Zai struggling to get onto any targets, but Kuroki blinks into the trees, straight TP out, and now Zai is the one in trouble. He's completely surrounded by enemy heroes. His allies are gone. I don't know why Axmo isn't actually hitting this Tiny, but it will not matter. Tiny will fall in the end. Pretty good reinforcements, honestly, from BU, but just not quite enough.
Yep, but the plays by Kuroki, like, I really thought, oh my god, we get a dual Coconut bouncing there, but he yules it away, then blinks out, so they only sacrifice the Tiny for Viper trade. I guess not the worst trade you can do, given the circumstances that, yeah, TA is now getting a tier 2 tower, no resistance, no cliff, no nothing used. There's a charge on the IO. IO not in the best condition, to be honest. Like, no charges, no stick, no bottle, no nothing, but, oh my god, he already got interrupted here by the Vengeful Spirit. He's going for it, but oh, he might find himself in a very awkward position because there's TA still around, but no, they're not gonna help him, and he's completely boxed in. This is unfair. I mean, held against the wall and punched in the face by a cow.
The ref has to interfere, man. That's just dirty. I guess the only scenario there where Vengeful Spirit lives is if she puts her back to the wall, gets greater bashed up to the high ground. Seen it happen once or twice before, but yeah, it's Avenge up against the Spirit Breaker. I don't like your odds, and I mean, I guess she does maybe protect the combo of My Nuts as well as Zai, which is, you know, worthwhile in and of itself, but there was no guarantee that that combo was going to die anyway. So, yeah, Vengeful Spirit getting picked off. No one really bats an eye. It's Vengeful Spirit. She's doing her job more or less. And it's 11-19 right now. Still, as you said, a very even game. BU now with a slight experience lead. And, I mean, as long as they keep tabs on the Spirit Breaker, as long as they have Nuts and his head on a swivel ready to relocate in, then it's going to be tough for Moscow 5 to actually get any more picks. Like, even right now, Spirit Breaker's coming in, but I don't know if he really should be doing this. He doesn't have any help.
I think he didn't see the Tiny. No, he was like, oh, look, there's a Wisp, I'm going for it. But then he saw his big brother, and then it was like, no, yo, I'm not going to attack that family. But now he's farming some creeps. The problem is he's sane, and that is probably the end of our Space Cow. He could still charge away. Does he have enough HP for it? He's charging that way, but Spirit Breaker, come with me. Aiming with the minus armor debuff, but it still does damage.
90 damage is all you need. I don't know where he was going. Like, there's no escape even if you go over there.
No, he had 3 seconds.
He's not having true sight, but Yeah, that was, I don't know, kind of ambitious. Either way, Spirit Breaker down, and Moscow 5 still looking for a fight. They're going to Glimmer Bignum in, looking for a curse onto Minos right now, but Zai's going to get 2-man avalanche, 2-man toss as well. Mike taking a beating, and it's going to be Nuss to fall first. Io down, but Zai and Secret both still alive and both still working away. Relocate in for the Io, just bought back, trying to rejuvenate Zai just a little bit more. Swap out onto Zai, still alive right now, gets one more toss up before he dies, but now it's up to the TA. They're going to focus down the Io once again. TA still doing a lot of damage onto this gyrocopter, but not quite enough. That meld hit looks like it did nothing. It's 4 down, 5 down, in fact, with the buyback counted in, and now it's TA to get chased down by Bignum. This is a pure bluff by this Winter Wyvern because he has no backup. So, yeah, TA just gonna get out of there, but, man, that was super expensive from BU, and that was even with a 4v5 from Moscow 5. Impeccable fighting from them.
This was a 4-on-5 because the Spirit Breaker was actually down. I mean, of course, a tiny bit luck was involved because Moscow 5 was really on the edge. The Viper survived with less than 100 HP, and the Gyrocopter also just flew away with maximum 200. They were on the edge of their health bars, but in the end, the bottom line only matters. Back to the fountain, they're full HP, and it comes down to, what was it? A 1-for-4 trade, and that's definitely a nice fight for Moscow 5. The next step, of course, could be going for Roshan, which respawns in some seconds, pretty much. If they're fast enough with this, that's the big question mark. Lifesteal is there, but they always have to fear relocate, and they're back alive.
Yeah, and Psionic Trap. So BU know about this, and they're probably going to try to make some sort of play. I think you got to give a lot of that credit to the fight to Bignum. He glimmered in, got the curse on the Io, and killing off the Io is, you know, it's what you want to be doing most of the time. But having a Winter Wyvern fully commit to that Io and getting him down means that the Tiny isn't really going to be able to stick onto his targets. Yeah, he's pretty quick as far as heroes are concerned, but he's not quick enough. And without that Io there, Tiny was getting kited by all the ranged heroes in Moscow 5, plus all the slows, of course. So that was a pretty good play by Bignum. If he can continue to do that, then pretty easy fights there on out. But they have a charge on to Come With Me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Come With Me is, well, warding mission, maybe a success. Oh, go up to the high ground, Come With Me. At least get the sentry. Try. I believe in you. Kill a sentry. Yes, mission success. You could die with honor now.
That's the typical, I don't know, suicidal warding mission. But I think they're on even more. Having that kill, the Glimmer Cape being used, the Winter Wyvern coming out, but he's so aggressive and so alone at this point. There's the curse on the Io, the Gyrocopter coming in and obliterating that little Io, but tethering away. Now it's only about Sai. They should have the interrupt. Yes, the coconut in his face, and then Tiny completely surrounded. Look at the damage he does, like AoE wise. It's kind of insane. If there was anyone else around this area, that might have been something, but Mr. TA, or Mrs. TA, actually decided to go for something more valuable. It is the siege damage on a tier 3 tower, and that just went through. It's not much, but if that was a longer fight on the top lane, that might have been quite a tier 3 tower there traded.
Yeah, Nuts couldn't really turn around and help, didn't have another tether available. They'll blink in, lift up the Gyrocopter, steal Rocket Barrage. Here comes Come With Me, looking for a swap. There's the slowdown. Gyrocopter does have a double life, and Axmo right behind him to back him up, although the TA is here. They see Axmo as well, but now they don't, walking out of that Sentry Ward range, with Bignum also closing in, as is My Control. They will have to back off BU. It's Tiny going down, but man, did Tiny put up a fight. Granted, the Moscow 5 side were all clustered up, so they're going to get cleaved down. You see extra damage coming out from the Tiny because of that. But if he had Overcharge, if he had TA there, or hell, even if he just had a Telekinesis there, which is still level 1 in this game, that could have been maybe a couple kills, maybe the Tiny's still surviving, maybe that's pretty ambitious, but yeah, I don't know, Tiny just needs to have actual backup there, and BU, they seem to be
BKB
on a split push plan.
A BKB would have been really interesting in that situation on a Tiny. Oh, I know in this game it's not a priority item for him just because he has the IO support, but yeah, that might have been really interesting. They got so much cleave there, just side traps or a melt from the back on like through 2 targets that might have turned that fight, but they decided to go for the split push instead. And also TA had no means to get anyway fast to that fight. Tier 1 was down in the lane, Tier 2 would have been the next teleport station. It's just not going anywhere, but oh, that IO is charged. Axmo is coming through, but they already know about it because they got just pounced away. Oh, Axmo hiding. I think he does the right thing because they're prepared for this.
Yeah, everyone on BU knew exactly what was going on right there. That could have been really bad. Again, killing off the IO is pretty much therefore killing off the Tiny. He can put up a decent fight, but not really a super lethal one. And then that would have been a pretty free series of kills, maybe even a little bit more pushing for Moscow 5. they really want to use the Aegis right now, which is why we're seeing them go for these straight pushing styles and strategies and looking for these kills, but it doesn't seem like, or maybe they're going to get the Aegis some value, but bottom lane is going to be their objective, and BU, if split push is really their plan, they have to turn things up a little bit, go a little bit faster, because I don't really know if they can pressure the base of Moscow 5 by the time Moscow 5 get to the BU base. BU are probably going to be forced into a fight right here. That's why we see IO Tiny continuing to push forward, and everyone else from BU should be starting to retreat.
Is under attack.
Oh, well, Sai working on that tier 2 tower. There's actually Axmo's charge, but I think this is just distraction, or everybody just running to TP. No, the gyrocopter has no TP whatsoever, so I don't know where this one is going. Axmo, well, he has to accept the fact tier 2 is going down, while Moscow 5, they still haven't even reached the base. Now the creeps enter high ground. Who's actually faster with this? I mean, illusions of a Tiny, they already do crazy amount of damage on a tower, almost faster than the real heroes on the other side. And now they go here on Axmo. Axmo has no cooldowns left, but yeah, he makes it out. In the meantime, they still work on that bottom tower. Cliff being used, but now they're out of cliffs, and now it becomes a problem if they start working.
Oh, and Nuts is down. Tiny is going to TP right into the middle of everything, but where are his allies? Improvement's going to come in from the north, but Zai needs to get swapped out by Come With Me. Even if he does kill off the gyrocopter, he has an Aegis, and Improvement can't really stand up to this Death Ward. He has to make his retreat as well. BKB is up. Now he's going to try to meld out, but that's not going to work either. YOLO grabs a double kill. And where are the rest of the heroes? Secret is, or Kuroki rather, going to get beaten down by Axmo. He's going to return a slow Viper Strike stolen, but the Witch Doctor's now right on top of him, gets the lift up, gets a stun to Axmo. Bottom lane's still pretty much a, gaping problem in the BU base. The Tiny's alive, but can't do anything by himself. That was such a weird decision from BU to try to just race there. Like, it's 4 heroes up against 2. I don't think you're going to win that race.
Yeah, but now the buybacks are coming out. The Tiny is also back. 10 seconds till the IO comes back. And they definitely make it for the tier 3 tower. There's a toss just to peel. The question is now, they have to engage in the fight. IO is back. And when that IO is back, we have a real fight starting here. Sai going already on YOLO, but just protected by the Winter Weaver. And oh, Axmo's charge not getting through. Everybody's interrupted. Come With Me is going back to the fountain. That's right. There's the call down. Hitting only the IO. The IO actually in trouble. The second call down, does it kill him? No, the Viper is going to finish that. Dirty work on that melee Rex, and yeah, I think that is beyond salvage, that Rex. And the question is now, do they force it, or does Moscow 5 even continue? Yeah, YOLO, look at this. He's going, actually YOLO, just go in it.
He has Satanic, he has Butterfly, and Zai's doing nothing without that IO overcharge there. It just seems like BU don't have enough to actually get into these fights. Like, Moscow 5 have this wall that's Axmo, Tib, and YOLO. And, Bignum looking for those openings in the backlines. But if you go onto YOLO with an Avalanche Toss combo, he heals up with the Satanic, he heals up with the Embrace. BU don't have a clockwork. They don't have some sort of way to actually get into that fight. And because of that, they're slowly but surely losing their entire base.
Yeah, but if they want to defend,
they have to defend to actually make that split push play before, but I don't really know if it would have mattered that much. They're going to jump in now for YOLO, but he gets buffered up once again. No damage taken. Come With Me has to swap the Tiny out for the up-team time. Improvement left on his lonesome. Facing up against everyone with Mind Control fully channeling that Death Ward. Buyback from the Tiny right now. Secret in the corner will go down. Zai's going to buy back, but instantly gets cursed up. Nuts is going to arrive, but I don't think this IO is going to last for very long with Axmo on top of him. Although Secret is there, steals something onto Axmo. They'll try to kill him off, but they won't even be able to do so. 50 HP, no, he does die to the Rubik, but the Raxes have been taken. Now YOLO being beaten down, has buyback and then some. Charge forward from Kuroki will kill off the gyrocopter, and they'll shift over to Bignum. They'll get a couple of kills, but Moscow 5 have Mega Creeps, and they have 3 buybacks. I don't think BU can outrace this.
No, absolutely not. I think they did the right thing, focusing just on the Rex there. That's also one of the main reasons they actually lost this fight, because if they would have focused only on the heroes, they had a good situation, like a good stand in that fight. The fact is, even if they could push out right now, going for a YOLO push through mid, anything like that, bottom lane is already pushed directly into the base, working on the tier 4 towers. We have buybacks, crucial buybacks actually on Moscow 5's side. We have the gyrocopter as well as Axmo on the Spirit Breaker up, and the Viper as well. So you have the 3 cores that could easily stall some time with the Viper ultimate, with call down, whatnot. There's just no way you break that. But Burden United, they don't give up at the moment. It seems like they don't want to give up. I mean, they had a game plan, but their little call in the mid, this split push with losing the IO and not being able to relocate and everything, that completely broke their neck. One bad call and you lose a game like this.
Well, they're still going to stay in it. I suppose if you are going to face up against Megas, an IO Tiny combo is what you want to have every single time. You have cleave, you have a lot of sustain, so Tiny doesn't take a ton of damage from those mega creeps, and if you have a couple of openings, you relocate into the enemy base, you try to backdoor for tier 3s, something like that. Like, this is a pretty good mega creeping lineup for BU. Like, the only way it could get better is if they have, like, you know, Battle Fury Magnus or something like that, something stupid like that. So it is up to Moscow 5 to actually get the final nail in the coffin, but they have all the time in the world to do so. They can go for Roshan, grab the cheese, grab the Aegis, grab a Divine Rapier or something like that, and then just go ahead and push.
To be honest, there's just no way I can see them going for a Mega Creep push, especially Psy being caught out here. There's even a rocket flying on him. If Viper makes it for the ultimate, there's a relocate away, so the IO is pretty much a goodbye, a little sentence. Oh, come with me. A bit too far out here. Look at all this damage. Axmo using his little drums there. Actually, well, it's the Gyrocopter's last charge of the drums, but either way, the two supports are going down. IO now following him, and that even less of a chance to finish this one here. That Tiny needs the IO support.
And the Tiny also needs to not get cursed, but it seems like that's just not in the cards right now. Axmo has been doing a great job at peeling for the correct targets. Really, I think it's Moscow 5 targeting the correct heroes at the correct times, like going for the IO every single time, killing off or locking down Kroki in the back lines. The offlane Rubik didn't have any flashy plays, but granted that there's not many flashy plays to be had. It just seems like BU, or Moscow 5 rather, had BU's number the entire game, but fortunately this is a best of 3, so we get at least one more game with these players. Where is Winter Wyvern going? Did you see him like fly off to the side?
He's flying around. He's flying in circles once he wins the game. But yeah, to be honest, if you would really want to summarize this game, it comes down to the simple fact that it was more kills, better plays by Moscow 5, but against a way better farm by Burden United, because that net worth was always either completely 0 or it was just slightly in favor for Moscow 5. It really came down to that play in the mid, like deciding for a split push, drop in tier 2, drop in tier 3, and then screwing up on the retreat, on the relocate situation, and then losing that fight into losing 3 racks within 5 minutes. Yeah, that was pretty much the play that ended this. But anyway, guys, we come back with the game number 2, and to be honest, we might even see 3 games here if they pull it together.
I hope we do, man. I hope we do. I'm Mikelorus. I've been joined by Heflamoke, and we'll both be right back for game 2.